Well, hey there everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm Adam, thanks for hanging out with me again today, and today's video is going to be what is in the other box that FMX sent me. Well, obviously, it's a small one. And it is the FCX18 Cheyenne 10. It's like the K10, but it's the Cheyenne version. So this one is going to be a little bit bigger than the FCX24 K10 that they sent over. You know, this is the truck version and a little bit bigger chassis, so it should work a little bit better. I didn't have any problems out of the FCX24, but, you know, a little bit bigger truck, a little bit longer wheelbase should make for a little bit more capable and steady rig. They sent me the black and red one, and man, the FMS is killing it on the scale details of these things. So I'll get some better up close pictures, of course, before we go out and run it. But you know, this thing just looks fantastic. So in the box, you get your instruction sheet, you get the radio. Now this one is a little bit different radio than the FCX24. They look a lot alike, but this one has the dip switches on the FCX18, so you can adjust the stuff right there on the radio without having to go through a dozen button pushes. So this one you can adjust, but there's a lot of button pushes and everything in this one. From what I've heard, the little dip switches up here make it a whole lot easier to adjust. Of course, you get your bag of goodies, so you get your cross wrench, you get your charger, a few little bits and bobs in here. Can't tell exactly. These are like clips and some mounting hardware, so I'm assuming to tidy up the wiring maybe. And then you get a 900 milliamp 2-cell LiPo in here. Whoops. So a little bit bigger battery than what came in the FCX24. So bigger truck, bigger battery, should have a little bit more, you know, runtime, but you know, a little bit bigger truck. Right away, looks fantastic, and oil-filled shocks, so no more jiggle like the FCX24. Let's get rid of that. Now, the other thing I really like about this truck, I don't have to take the body off. The hood, you pry up on it, and the battery goes right down in the hood. Close that up. You have to kind of like push it and get it back down. Locks down well, so pop it open, stick your battery in, turn it on, boom, shut the lid, you're good to go. I like that a lot. And, you know, it's not bad looking to just have it on display with the hood open. Now, I'm sure you could probably print out a nice little engine cover in here for display purposes. You know, you could have it sitting there and have a little 3D printed engine cover just kind of laying up there to make it look better. I'm sure somebody's done one by now. But it has little tiny scale windshield wipers. Of course, it has the same mirrors that the FCX24 does, basically. You know, just a really, really beautiful body. I'm not a Chevy guy, but, you know, I can't knock a hard square body. Tailgate comes down. You have a full depth bed. Now, the little shock tower, the top of the shocks and towers stick up into the bed, which is no big deal, especially on the black one. You could barely see them in there. And with the little deep bed, you know, you could drop a few little fake boxes or something in there and just kind of tack them down so they don't fall out. But on this one, you do have headlights and tail lights and everything. So what I'll do is I will get the battery in there. Let me get a couple batteries in here, and then we'll turn it on, let you see everything. Okay, so we have the truck on. Nice quick servo. And actually a very quiet drivetrain. Now, you have a little button on the side of the remote, turns the headlights on, turns the headlights on. So you have headlights and tail lights. So when you go in, it may not show up on camera, but when you put it, so when you're going and then you stop, the brake lights do light up. Now you have a low beam and a high beam option, and then you can also throw on flashers. So the only thing I don't like is it has turn signals. And if you barely turn the wheel, turn signals come on. I will live with it. It's just not my favorite thing. I wish, you know, instead of being able to turn the 4-ways on, you know, just be able to disable the turn signals, to have option 3 to disable the turn signals. So the high beam and the low beam are cool. And then, you know, a third one to turn the stupid turn signals off. My personal pet peeve, I won't rant and rave on it. The servo is still really quick with it down on the bench. Let's see what we do in low speed. Not bad. So you do have the double pump reverse. I'm pretty sure you can change that. Everything is stock right now. Yeah, throttle dual rate, throttle trim, steering dual rate, steering trim, throttle reverse, steering reverse, all that stuff on there, and then a bind plug, and then your main power button. The dip switches, I will look those up here in a second. We'll go through those. So underneath you have nice solid metal links, which is nice. You know, that'll help it slide. Plus, give it, they're actually fairly strong feeling. You know, you go to squeeze on them, nothing moves. The front lower link and front upper link are both metal as well, and the front link is curved a little bit to allow a little bit more steering throw to clear the axles, or to clear the pumpkin. You do have kind of the same portal axles on this one. Now, the cool thing with this truck is this comes with beadlocks. So if you don't like the tires, you can just buy tires instead of having to buy wheels and tires. Now, I know a lot of guys will upgrade to go ahead and buy wheels and tires at the same time, especially for these little guys. They're not terribly expensive, but I do have to say I absolutely love the tires. So the tires are Buff Goodrich's Mud Terrain TAs. Way to skirt the legality of that one. But again, you have nice oil-filled shocks, same servo and axle, and again, it tucks right up into the frame rail, so you're not losing really any suspension out of it, and it sits really nice right at the box. The tires are actually causing it to bounce, not the suspension. But again, it's really great looking truck. Let me find the dip switches and figure out what those do. Okay, so the first, for switch number 1, if it is in the downs position, you have forward, reverse, and brake. And then if you have the running mode, if you have it flipped up, then you just have forward and reverse. So we saw you have forward, brake, which it just turns the lights on, and then reverse. So if we flip that up, forward, reverse. A lot harder on the gear train, but sometimes you may want that to, you know, get yourself out of a sticky situation out on the trail. Number 2 is set to LiPo mode for the battery. You can set it to nickel metal hydride. Why, I don't know, because, you know, you're not going to fit a nickel metal hydride pack in this thing very well. And then the last 2 dip switches, number 3 and number 4, are for the drag brake. Currently it is set in 0%. There's 0, 50, 75, and 100%. Let's set up our downhill. Yeah, so she's just freewheeling. But that's in the 0%, so that's not terrible. So let's change it to 50%. So now we have 50% drag brake. So now we have 50% drag brake. I'm going to touch the throttle and then set it down. Okay, so it did stop itself. Let's go to 75%. Yeah, I can definitely see it. Alright, let's actually raise this up a little bit higher. Alright, 75% is still rolling, which I did adjust it up higher. So let's go to 100% drag brake, which is the dip switches all the way up. Alright, that is definitely slamming on the brakes. See what we can do. Alright, that's actually doing pretty daggone well. And it stopped. So it's still on a creepy roll, but you really can't argue with that for a decent drag brake on, you know, a fairly inexpensive little 18 scale truck. Probably gonna leave it set in 50% just so it's not, you know, I'm fine with that. I don't necessarily need it to hold itself. I just want it to be able to control a downhill. So that should work. Yeah, that should work for what I want to do with it. All right, so, you know, not a whole lot to look at. I'm not going to pull the body off of it to look at it. I'll go online and see if I found anybody that has a really good video on what the whole guts of it look like, and I'll link it down below. But the wheels on this one are a little bit bigger. These are actually, so these are 1.0 wheels. These are actually 1.3s. So the wheels and tires I bought probably won't work with it. And we're going to run it first, bone stock, and see what we do. And then in the second video, we'll come back and we'll take a look at it. We'll throw these on, get a little bit of weight down low with some brass bead locks and some stickier, more aggressive tires, and see if that helps or not. So for right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same thing I did with the FCX24. We're going to take it upstairs, run around a little rock mountain that I have for indoor running, see how it does, and then we will get it outside on the little rocks out in the creek bed and just run around there, get some video of it on doing some, you know, actually outdoor stuff. So I'll be back as soon as we're done with all that. All right, guys, so we're back in after the run with the FCX18, and what do I think about it? I think it ran really well. Now, comparing this to some others, the Red Cat Ascent, this is a little bit more work. So think of it more of, you know, this is a trail truck / rock crawler. The Ascent 18 is definitely more of a rock crawler. And you don't really have to worry about that one tumbling over and taking the spill. This one is so good looking, you don't want to wreck it. Now, unfortunately, I have a nice ding on the roof and a few other scratches where I did wreck it. Kind of sucks. You know, I really don't mind the little teeny tiny scratches in there. The big ding on the top kind of sucks, but it is what it is. They're rock crawlers and they're trail trucks, so they're going to get dinged up. Otherwise, it ran great. The added wheelbase compared to the 24, you know, could cross over a lot of things that the 24 would get hemmed up on. But then also the longer wheelbase, sometimes this thing wanted to get high centered a little bit more than the 24 did because it had the shorter wheelbase. So, you know, any of these mini trucks, they're going to be gives and takes about the size of them. Overall, it performed really, really well. The 2-speed in here works great. Perfect for low range. I did 90% of the driving in low range, but the high range is definitely more than fast enough to get you from point A to point B. And unlike the 24, this has some dampening in it, so it runs a whole lot smoother. Now, it still kind of skitters and bumps over top of certain things. It's just a tiny little truck. So the pull-down tailgate, the pop-up hood, you know, it just looks super cool. So like I was saying before, if you were able to find like a little 3D printed insert to just lay in here and leave it on display like that with a little tiny engine compartment in there, would be awesome. So I'm going to look to see if I can find anything like that. If you guys know of anything specifically for this, drop it down in the comments below. Again, the little shocks and shock tower sticking up in the back, you know, it's not really that big. It blends in very, very well with the black truck. And again, you could find some little boxes, some little, you know, stuff to lay back in the back to cover those up, and you would never know they were there. The lights, love the lights. I love the high beam, the low beams. I love, actually, this one has the brake lights in it. So I'm not a fan of the turn signals. You know, it is what it is. And luckily, out on the trail, when you're driving it, you're kind of watching the truck more than you're watching the turn signals, and in the bright light, you really don't notice them. Now, later on in the evening, if you're running night, obviously they're going to be strobing at you and would be a little bit more annoying. Looks-wise, this thing is an A++. You know, they nailed it with the looks of this thing. It is scaled out. It just looks fantastic, and you can still even do more with it. But overall, a fantastic job, FMS, on the scale look of it. And I even like the 1.3 wheels on here. It just, for the bigger truck, having the bigger wheels, it really makes it look good. The metal links did work well out there. They just slide right over top of stuff. So anytime you did get a little bit high centered, a lot of times if the front tire would catch, it would just kind of drag it and slide it right down. So overall, I'm going to give this one an A as well. I thought it was really great. And head to head, you guys saw it in the run thing. This one is a good bit faster than the 24. So speed wise, this one is faster. And you know, I had no problems with power out of either one of them. By the time you got to a point to where you were overpowering the truck, you were in a lot of trouble anyway. So thanks again for FMS sending this over to me. I hope you guys enjoyed the kind of run through of it, and I really hope you guys enjoyed the run footage. I had a blast out there running it. So we will get this back out on the trail with the new tires. You know, run it inside, outside again, see how it does. And until then, everybody out there, be happy, be healthy, be safe, and I will catch you guys on the next one. See you.